The following video is based on a true story.
Shut up!
It was summertime, so I was hanging out with Anthony and Brian, our Mormon friend. We were 15 and we had nothing to do, you know, summer, we didn't have much money. And so we had these water balloons, and so we were like, well, let's just go to the school and play this little game where like one person tries to get to the other side of the school without getting hit by water balloons. Me and our Mormon friend Brian were up on the roof of the school throwing water balloons down at Anthony, and all of a sudden we hear this guy screaming at us. I look over and there's some gigantic lard ass with his wife and 2 kids coming home from the public pool. This humongous whale of a person starts screaming at me to get down from the roof of the school. So I got down from the roof and I look around and our Mormon friend Brian is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, he pulled a total bitch move and just ran away. Now let me clarify something about the Mormons that I grew up around. There's 2 different kinds of Mormons. The good Mormon kids and the bad Mormon kids. The good Mormon kids, they do all the stuff that Mormons are supposed to do. They don't watch rated R movies, they don't do drugs, they don't have sex until they're married, blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff. Then there's the bad Mormon kids. These kids, they do every possible drug they can get their hands on, and they're boning everything that walks the earth. That might be a slight exaggeration, but you get the point. Anyway, Brian was one of the good Mormon kids, so I assumed he didn't want to get in trouble for what might possibly be illegal. Anyway, this colossal beast is just screaming hysterically at us, and he pushes Anthony and I into a wall. And he's like, "You fucking kids are vandalizing school property! I'm gonna call the cops!" And I was like, we aren't really vandalizing anything, we're just kind of running around the school. And I guess at some point in this guy screaming like an enraged animal of some sort, I guess Anthony decided he had enough of this and he tries to leave. And then this is when things get really crazy. This gargantuan Goliath fat guy grabs Anthony and puts him in a chokehold. And remember, this guy's wife and 2 kids are watching this whole thing. And Anthony starts freaking out, and the guy's wife is like, "Phil, stop it!" I don't really remember the guy's name. I just kind of felt like Phil was an appropriate name for a fat-ass douchebag. No offense to anybody named Phil who wasn't fat or a douchebag. So anyway, his wife is like, "Phil, stop it!" And he's like, "Back off, Cheryl! I'll snap his neck!" Anthony's scared because some guy is about to kill him. I'm scared because I'm probably going to be the next to die. And our Mormon friend Brian was probably scared because he might get grounded and not be able to read the Book of Mormon before bed. Or something like that. I don't know. So luckily he didn't snap Anthony's neck just yet. He looks at me and he's like, "You guys are in big trouble. What's your name?" And usually in these cases, when you're put in these sort of situations, you give him like a fake name, like Brad Pitt or Milo Ventimiglia. How does his last name go? It's like Milo Ventimiglia. I don't know. Anyway, so of course I was scared shitless, so I gave him my full real name. Yeah, I know, really smart. And then he looks down at Anthony, who he's, still strangling, and he's like, "Okay, what's your name?" And Anthony mutters, "Bob." He says his name is Bob. Of all the possible first names, Bob is the one that he comes up with. I really have no idea. And then he asks, "What's your last name?" And this is the thing that I thought was going to get us for sure killed. Because Anthony said his last name was Jones. That means his name is Bob Jones. Bob Jones is just about the most generic possible name anybody could come up with. I was like, alright, that's it. We're dead. We are definitely dead now. And he says, "Okay, Bob Jones." He actually believed it. "Where do you live?" And so, Anthony gives him some equally crappy fake address. It was probably something like 1234 Street. And then so he lets him go, and he's like, if I ever see you guys here again, there will be hell to pay. Like he's some sort of comic book villain. So Anthony and I are walking back to the house, you know, just glad we're not dead. And guess who's at the front of our house? Oh, that's right. It's our Mormon friend Brian, just chilling there like nothing happened. And, you know, normally I would have punted his stupid head right off of his body, but I was just happy to be alive, and I forgave him for being such an insufferable pussy. Plus, he offered to buy us milkshakes afterwards, so that was pretty cool. So I guess the moral of the story is, if you're gonna harass a couple of innocent teenagers, make sure they don't find out where you live, because they might just TP your house. A lot. Hey, go to Smosh.com to see what else that fat ass yelled at us about.
Well, I'm fat because I have a thyroid problem, you dick!